Hey everyone, and welcome back to another explainer. Today, we are diving into a really fascinating analysis of some profound source material that maps out the cosmic landscape for late June 2026. Specifically, we're going to be looking at a very detailed astrological breakdown for this crucial little window from June 21st right through the 29th. Now, our texts highlight this specific week as a rare astrological bottleneck. Basically, a time where multiple planetary alignments are overlapping all at once. So, we're going to unpack exactly what these latest positions mean for you and set the stage for some pretty major cosmic shifts. Let's just dive right in. So, the really big question we have to ask right off the bat is your sign actually ready for what's coming this week? Because the celestial changes happening from the 21st to the 29th are, frankly, incredibly significant. The source material flags this as a highly impactful period for both your day-to-day life and your overarching career path. Oh, and you'll definitely want to stick with me through this whole analysis because at the very end, I'm going to share a powerful spiritual remedy pulled straight from our sources. It's designed to clear away the week's obstacles and bring you some real peace. And honestly, it's a super practical tool you absolutely won't want to miss. All right, to make sense of all these overlapping energies, our source material breaks the forecast down across the four foundational zodiac elements. Let's look at that breakdown. Right out of the gate, the data reveals a really stark contrast in the cosmos. We're looking at high energy versus steady growth. On one side, there's this highly dynamic, almost volatile high energy environment that is completely destined for the fire signs. But then, on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we see a totally different trajectory, a deeply grounded, financially promising growth phase waiting for the earth signs. It's literally a tale of two entirely different cosmic atmospheres happening at the exact same time. So let's start with our fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Listen up, because if this is you, the source data points to a massive surge in vitality. Since your ruling planets are entering this really high-octane phase during this specific week, your energy levels are going to be uniquely elevated. You're going to feel incredibly driven, motivated, and just ready to tackle literally anything that crosses your desk or pops up in your personal life. It's a hugely dynamic time for you, and honestly, you should absolutely harness this momentum to push past any lingering procrastination. But, and this is a big but, there's a very important caveat to all this intense energy. You need to mark your calendars for June 25th. The source material issues a very specific warning for fire signs around this exact day. Because your energy is running so hot, the risk of acting in haste is also extremely high. The texts strongly advise that you strictly avoid rushing your decisions, don't sign any sudden contracts, and definitely don't jump to conclusions around the 25th. You really have to channel that high energy carefully because otherwise you risk creating entirely new problems just by moving way too fast. Now, while the fire signs are burning hot, our earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you guys are stepping into a deeply grounded and really steady week. The analysis actually predicts that you're going to see notable financial improvements. In fact, the alignments make this the absolute optimal time to launch those long-term new projects. If you've been sitting around waiting for a green light to start that new business venture, or maybe ask for a promotion, or make a calculated, well-researched investment, well, the data says this window right here, June 21st to the 29th, is your definitive moment to build and grow. Moving on, the remaining two elemental groups are facing a totally different dynamic: communication focus versus emotional balance. For the air signs, the forecast points to an entirely external, highly communicative focus. But for the water signs, the planetary shifts are demanding a much more internal, emotionally sensitive state. And figuring out which side of this equation you fall on is absolutely vital for navigating the week. Let's talk about those air signs first: Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. For you folks, it's literally all about connection right now. The sources are advising you to focus really intensely on your communication this week. Keep your ears open, check those emails closely, and definitely keep your phone handy. Based on the data, you should be expecting some major news coming from friends or colleagues, and it's likely going to be related to professional networking or some unexpected collaborative opportunities. It's going to be this highly social, interactive period, so proactively sharing info and reaching out, that's the real key to unlocking your progress right now. Now, unlike the totally outward-looking air signs, the energy for you, water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, demands a lot more internal care. The single most critical takeaway from our source material for you is the absolute importance of maintaining your emotional balance. Because of how these specific planets are affecting your signs, things might feel, well, a bit chaotic, or sensitive, or just overwhelmingly internal during this stretch. So your main priority isn't necessarily launching massive projects or waiting around for big external news. Right now, your primary job is simply protecting your peace, staying deeply grounded, and managing those emotional responses really carefully. And for water signs, the crucial anchor point of the entire week is June 28th. Just like the fire signs had a critical date to watch, you have one too. The guidance here is crystal clear. You need to exercise immense patience and just hold steady until the 28th officially passes. If you can manage to maintain your emotional equilibrium through that specific date, the texts indicate that the heavy internal turbulence will actively start to subside. So just breathe through it, lean into that natural emotional intelligence you have, and just wait for the 28th to pass before making any huge emotional leaps. Okay, as promised, navigating all of this cosmic turbulence requires an anchor. And for this specific window, the source text provides a traditional, powerful wazifa. Let's take a look at this remedy. I highly recommend grabbing a quick screenshot of this right now because getting the sequence right is actually really important. According to the text, this specific remedy should be performed after every prayer to clear anxieties and bring tangible blessings to your sustenance. It's 3 steps. Step 1 centers you. You recite the Rude Ibrahimi 3 times. Then, step 2 actively calls in the blessings. You recite Ya Fatahu 7 times, followed immediately by reciting Ya Razaku 100 times. Finally, step 3 seals the whole practice by concluding with Durude Ibrahimi 3 more times. It's a very precise, sequential practice meant to actively anchor your mind and spirit. And the source text is incredibly clear about the intended outcome here. It literally translates to, "This remedy will turn the stars in your favor." The texts really emphasize the immense power of this wazifa to seamlessly align those chaotic cosmic energies we were just talking about. Whether you're a fire sign dealing with crazy high energy, an earth sign looking to maximize your growth, or a water sign just trying to stay emotionally balanced, this practice is cited as the definitive method to remove the week's obstacles and completely smooth your path forward. I would absolutely love to hear how these specific planetary positions are actually playing out for you in the real world. Drop your name and your zodiac sign down in the comments below because the source text actually invites specific details for those who engage. And of course, if you appreciate these structured explainers of complex astrological data, make sure you hit subscribe so you're always the first to know about our deeper dives. All right, let's wrap this up by bringing everything we've looked at today into focus. We've seen how the elements are pulling us in all these completely different directions, from high energy and financial growth to intense communication and the absolute need for deep emotional balance. But the overarching theme of all this source material is super clear. The stars show the path, but the destination is ultimately your choice. You've got the forecast, you know the specific dates to watch out for, and you have a tangible spiritual remedy to anchor you. So my final question for you is this. What are you going to change this week to take control of your own destiny, regardless of what the stars might say? Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.